It is the land of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the birthplace of Jesus. From Genesis to Revelation, Israel is the centerpiece of God's story, a saga that continues to unfold in our daily news. But behind the headlines are the people caught in the crosshairs of some really complex issues. It can be hard to see clearly from the outside, so let's explore my homeland from within. Outside appearances can be shallow and at times deceiving. Often the most amazing things are revealed when we look beneath the surface. In this episode, we get an undercover view of 3 ancient stories hidden beneath the surface of modern-day Israel.
At the 10th of May 1940, the German army marched into Belgium, where my husband Theo Siebenberg lived in Antwerp. He was chased out of Europe, didn't let into America. His dream was to come to Israel, to Jerusalem, to have a homeland where he can put his head. There were stamps at that time about the Tower of David and the Temple Mount. He looked at it and he wanted to be there. The diaspora, they were yearning to come to Jerusalem, to live in Jerusalem. And for them, Jerusalem was at the Western Wall. He wanted to live in the Jewish quarter next to the Temple Mount. This was his dream. After the liberation of Jerusalem, everybody came to see the Western Wall. He said, "This is where I want to have my house." I said, "Theo, it's very difficult." His brother came and he said, "Theo, why don't you have your house here?" I saw the name of the company and I went up and I said that these 2 people want to have a house here. So the manager of the company said, "I have 2 houses." So they said, "Yes." I like the way they lived in the past, and I like the way I live now. We came here to the Jewish quarter in 1970, and we started building our house. Right at that time, we also started the excavation. The archaeologists did proof digs here, but they didn't find anything. We are opposite the Temple Mount. Where did the Jews live 2,000 years ago? They must have lived here. They said there's nothing here. But Theo imagined and dreamt and knew by chance. I can't explain it. So the thing is that my husband always, when he did something, he did it big. The archaeologists at that time, they were the minimalist and the maximalist. He was the maximalist, yeah? He was going to do it as big as he can. We are from one street to the other. This is it. So we did all the limits that we could. It's not like we are the only one that are making noise and working. All around us, they were building. The whole Jewish quarter was rebuilt from scratch almost. All around us, it's building and the mud and no streets. And I used to fall all the time and slide in the mud. My husband was there every day from 6 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the evening. After 8 months, he came with this thing. It was full of mud around it. And he said, "It's a keyring, it's a keyring." He knew that it's a keyring. And this was the first find. There was a hill So actually we took out the whole hill. Had to put up a retaining wall to support the houses above us. When we started, they asked Theo where would they build the retaining wall. So he said, let's build it parallel to the house upstairs. And 8 years later, we saw that the new retaining wall sits on top of a wall from Second Temple period, from street to street. The stones that you see behind us are from apparently the Maccabee Palace that stood here. The Maccabee Palace was much bigger and probably was maybe a third of the Jewish quarter of today and maybe more. My husband wanted all the stones as they are, so he brought special porters and they carried them out. Here we have an original wall from Second Temple period, and you can see the layers of ashes and pieces of wood. The ashes are from the time of the destruction of the temple. The dates come because of Josephus said it, but we gave some of these ashes to a laboratory in South Africa for carbon-14, and they came up with the dates of 40 to 90. The excavation took us about 18 years. Theo wanted to have the connection with his ancestors from 2,000 years ago. I was born here. Theo's dream was to come back to his homeland. He wanted to come all the way to his roots. From our roof, you can see today, and then we go all the way down, 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 till we go back to 2,000 years ago. You have the whole history in one timeline, the continuity of Jewish people in one place.
Israel is a land filled with important spiritual and historical treasures. For Theo, living in the old city of Jerusalem was his lifelong dream. Little did he and his wife know that the home he had always dreamt of owning was actually home to a sacred hidden treasure never before uncovered. In Scripture, we are often encouraged to look beyond the outward appearance and discover what is beneath the surface. When we do, it is very possible we may discover something quite unexpected and beautiful.
בגלל שזה פה יש את הקבר של ישו שנמצא בתוך הכנסייה, זה הכנסייה הכי קדושה בעולם הנוצרי. תראה, הכנסייה, פותחים את הכנסייה בשעה 4 לפנות בוקר וסוגרים אותה בשעה 8:30. זה מינוי רק זה החותמת של הסולטן עבד אל-חמיד. זה המינוי של שלושה מהבני משפחה שלי שהם חסן וחוסיין ועבד אל-קאדר, להיות האחראים על מפתחות כניסת הקבר. הסיפור התחיל ככה בשנת 1187, מאז שסלאח א-דין אל-איובי שחרר את ירושלים מיד הצלבנים. היועצים של סלאח א-דין אל-איובי ביקשו ממנו להרוס את הכנסייה. סלאח א-דין אל-איובי סירב לבקשת היועצים שלו. אסף את שלוש עדות של היוונים והארמנים והקתולים, ואמר להם, יש לי עצה בשבילכם על מנת כאילו לשמור על כניסת הקבר לטווח הארוך. שמעו ממנו, אמר להם, אני מבקש לתת את מפתחות הכנסייה ליד משפחת אל-חוסייני, ג'ודי אל-חוסייני. אז העדות כן הסכימו, ומאז, משנת 1187 עד תאריך היום, אנחנו מחזיקים במפתחות כניסת הקבר, וזה הולך מאבא לבן. זה מה שאנחנו משתמשים פה יומיומי, שפותחים בו את הכנסייה, וזה המפתח שכבר יצא מהתפקיד לפני 500 שנה. אתם רואים מפה שהמפתח שבור. אנחנו קיבלנו מידי סלאח א-דין לאיובי שתי מפתחות. השתי מפתחות הם פותחים אותו מנעול. השתמשנו במפתח הקודם, השתמשנו בו לפני איזה 500 שנה כבר נשבר, שזה מפתח חדש, אבל זה המפתח שקיבלנו אותו גם בשנת 1187. מסמכים למשפחה שלי מחזיקים ב-165 פרמנים מ-28 סולטנים שהיו המושלים כאילו של ירושלים. זאת החתימה של הסולטן בזמנו. זה אתה יכול כאילו לשים את האצבע פה ולהסתכל ולראות נקודות של זהב על האצבע עולים. זה מסמך מהבית משפט איסלאמי. זה בשנת 1093. יותר, 600 שנה. ואיך שאתה רואה אותו, אם אנחנו רוצים לשמור, כאילו זה לא צריך לראות אור. זה כבוד לא רק למשפחה שלי, זה כבוד לכל העולם המוסלמי, שמשפחה מוסלמית מחזיקה במפתחות של כניסת הקבר, שהיא הכנסייה הכי קדושה בעולם הנוצרי.
To understand the true value of something, we must uncover its history. Through Scripture, we learn that the earth was intrinsically created by God for a purpose. By studying the world around us, we can learn not only more about those purposes, but about the Creator Himself. David writes in Psalm 19, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims His handiwork." If we look, we can find God in both the glorious heights and the hidden depths of His creation.
The land of Israel has an ancient past, but when history becomes legend, how do we decipher between myth and truth? To unearth this nation's history, we'll have to look beneath the surface. In 1886, the Israel Stela was discovered. This 7-foot slab contains the earliest reference to Israel in a non-biblical source and reveals that the Hebrews were living in the Promised Land before 1200 BC. Near the end of the 19th century, Hittite monuments were uncovered at Carchemish. Until that point, historians believed this people group was mere biblical fiction. In June 1961, an inscription proving the existence of Pontius Pilate was found on a limestone block in Caesarea Maritime. In November 1990, archaeologists found the remains of Joseph Caiaphas, the high priest who indicted Jesus before Pontius Pilate on Good Friday. In 2004, the repair of a water pipe in Jerusalem led to the discovery of what is believed to be the miraculous Pool of Bethesda, proving that in Israel, you never know what history is hiding under cover.
Probably 1st century CE or even earlier. You can see it here. Please come down. You see this door. It's 400 kilos. The flashlight, please. Well, I'm getting in. Hopefully I'll get out. Yalla. The Galilean classic Jewish tomb. All of these are burial niches. But you can see the shelf here. This is the specified space or spot for putting the bodies for the first year after death. until only bones remain. Then they collect the bones inside these niches. You see this line? The builders wanted all the opening to be on the same level, so the masons marked the level, and it's 2,000 years old. Try to close the door. It's 400 kilos. Here we go. A 2,000 years old door working still has this iron lever. As long as you have specified spaces in a tomb for a body and a different space for the bones, this is a Jewish tomb. For a moment you thought you were staying in here. You're not the first one to get out of a tomb alive. There are Jewish tombs in the Galilee, and there are other tombs in the Galilee which do look like Jewish tombs, but they are not completely Jewish. And I had to find a solution, an answer. It was a riddle. I guess and I believe that I've solved this riddle. When you make tomb hunting your profession, you learn where and how to find tombs. I was lucky to find some unknown tombs, but most of the tombs I know are very well known and highly accessible. One wonders if the tombs are so easy to access, why don't people study them? The community of scholars, most of them simply don't see it. I guess the others see it, but I'm not trying to explain what others do or do not do. I know what I do, and I will back up what I do, not what others don't do. Everybody is running to Jerusalem to find traces of Jesus and his followers. We know that most of his followers were Galileans. After the crucifixion, they ran from Jerusalem. They ran home. This is so-called Jewish tomb. Why don't we look for these people in the Galilee? They lived here. Well, somebody just, well, they're trying to erase it. It has fins. Here is one, and the other one, they broke it. Oh God. This is the tale. Jews were not allowed to depict animals and humans. It's against the Jewish law. Jonah's sign, it's in the New Testament. 3 days in the belly of the fish and then got back to life, which is the resemblance of the resurrection. This sign, it's not even Christian, it's Christian Jewish. It precedes the cross and others. It's the first visible sign that Jesus' followers applied on walls and in other works. We have the spots for bodies and the niche for collecting the bones. This is Jewish, but this is not Jewish. Maybe it was completely Jewish before someone became a Christian Jew and depicted the fish such, it's a 2 feet long fish. You cannot miss it. I know a great scholar who excavated the ancient Jewish village of Meron and the synagogue on the top of the mountain, but somehow he missed this fish and this tomb. I find it almost unbelievable. Well, the head was larger. They broke it. And they put some color around the fish. I'm glad we are documenting it because we might lose it. To study tombs, you got to be in the field. So I don't know if any other Israeli scholar is studying Christian Judaism, because the mainstream just doesn't like even the term Judeo-Christian or Christian Jews. You can ask just a Jew in the street, was Jesus a Jew? He will tell you, no, he was not, he was Christian. Jesus was not Christian. He was born a Jew, he lived a Jew, he died a Jew, he was buried a Jew. His first followers were Christian because they accepted him. The most important tomb in this site is the last one. Please. The first generations of Jesus following Jews here in Israel, they were Christian Jews, what we call today Messianic Jews. Jews who keep the Torah completely, but accept Jesus as Messiah. They don't see any contradiction. This looks like a Jewish tomb, yet it does have Christian symbols. The lines here are, in fact, chain of fish all around the opening of this niche. 1, 2, 3. You can live your life by the rules of the Torah and still accept Jesus if you wish to. Chain of fish here inside. And I don't see any problem. I respect any religion as long as it doesn't interfere with my life. It's okay. I'm not endangering anything and anyone. I'm doing what others don't. My conclusions are debatable. It's okay. But please put them on the table and start the debate. I might be wrong, but we'll never know it until we debate it. Everything is covered until we find it, okay? But I get the impression that this group of finds and the meaning of this group of finds is not just covered, it is deliberately covered. And I'm not even trying to explain this attitude. It's not my business. Almost every scholar will tell you that the cross became a Christian symbol after Constantine the Great's night vision. Many, many years before Constantine was even born, the cross was a symbol of devotion to Jesus. And you know it. You just don't notice. When Jesus says, if you want to follow me, take your cross and follow me. 5 times in the New Testament. This is at least a symbol of devotion to Jesus. I'm glad to tell you. You need a Jew to tell you that. Okay, I'm here. I'm not afraid of reading whatever. Just look at the things. Just take the book and read it. I did it. I'm a Jew. I took the New Testament. Just read it. It's there. You can see it. This tomb had this symbol on one of its walls. Now it's gone. So, when I visited this place about 6 years ago, well, it's heavy. It had this sign on this wall, which I was lucky enough to take a picture of, and I still keep the picture. This symbol, we know it's an ancient Christian symbol, and it means it has a cross and the Alpha Omega, and it was here in a so-called Jewish tomb. It's Jewish by the structure, but not Jewish by the symbol. It's a mix. I believe it's a Christian Jewish tomb. Religious Jews who respect these places for religious reasons and come here to pray and ask for help from the rabbis whose names are connected to these tombs. Well, this is the power of tradition. But if you look at the strict Jewish laws in the Mishnah and the Talmud, you understand that what they do here is not allowed by Jewish law, by Jewish religious law. Allowing these people to do almost whatever they want to do in these sites because we sort of accept that these sites belong to these religious Jews, which I don't accept, but this is the fact of life here in Israel, especially in the Galilee. They find a tomb, they connect a certain rabbinic name to the tomb, and then we lose it. Facts are just there. Just go and see it. If Jesus' earliest followers were Jews, we are talking about Christian Jews. Maybe it was a very small group, but it's not a myth. My conclusions are only the result of hard work. But some call my conclusions explosives. I really like it. I like to explode things. I was in the army. Christian Jews sort of disappeared, but I believe that many of them completed the process and became complete Christians, and others simply returned to complete Judaism. But we do know that the rabbis and the church fathers didn't like them. Christianity and Judaism had in common the attitude to Christian Jews. I know it sounds horrible, but Tum, talk to me.
We live in a world where fact and fiction are intertwined. These stories remind us that the truth often lies beneath the surface. This is especially true for the believer. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. And who found the treasure? The one who sought it out. Many people miss out on the richness of the gospel because they never look beneath the surface. For those who go searching, there awaits a wealth of truth, hope, and love found only in Jesus. So look closer, dig deeper. The truth you're looking for just might be undercover. I leave you with a psalm penned by King David, a blessing over the city, and indeed a prayer for Israel. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. May peace be within your walls, and prosperity within your palaces. For the sake of my brothers and friends, I will now say, may peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your good.